Imagine pouring your heart and soul into planning the perfect Christmas proposal, mapping out every single detail to create a magical moment for the woman you love. Now, picture her sitting across from you, 3 days before Christmas, telling you she's bringing someone else to your meticulously planned dinner, that she's done with you, and that she even found the engagement ring. That's exactly what happened to me. For years, I'd been the guy with his life together, but no one to share it with. I was 28, building a career in construction management in Michigan, proud of my fully paid-off Ford F-150, not flashy, but rock solid. Dating? A graveyard of disappointments. Women just saw my stability as dull. So, I'd stopped chasing it, throwing myself into my work, fitness, and a passion project, restoring a 1985 Mustang. Then, in June 2021, my buddy Marcus hosted a barbecue, and I met Rachel. She was an art teacher, vibrant, with a laugh that just pulled you in. And she wasn't trying to look like she was still in college. She carried herself with this quiet confidence. We clicked immediately. For the first time, it felt like someone actually appreciated that I had my life together. She loved my real furniture, my cooked dinners instead of greasy takeout, my weekends that weren't just wasted on hangovers. Our conversations about the future felt so natural, so honest. She'd tease me about needing a bigger place when we eventually moved in, ask about my lease, and genuinely want to meet my family. But what truly floored me was her interest in the Mustang. I was used to women rolling their eyes at my car projects. Rachel, though, she'd show up with fresh coffee while I was in the garage, leaning over the hood, genuinely curious about rust and engines. One Saturday, she even pulled on her mom's old coveralls and helped me sand corrosion, coming out covered in dust and grit, not a single complaint. Her family welcomed me like I was their own. Her dad, David, a retired police officer, became the father figure I never knew I needed. He shared grilling secrets, invited me to his garage, and let me help rebuild his '78 Camaro. Our Sundays became a ritual: beers, open engines, conversations about everything from sports to the stubborn realities of life. His garage was a mechanical wonderland, immaculate, filled with tools and equipment most guys only dream about. He taught me carburetor rebuilds, valve adjustments, 100 tricks you'd never find in a manual. Rachel's mother, Linda, treated me with the kind of warmth that made it clear she'd always wanted a son. She'd send me home with leftovers, ask my opinion on everything. Her garden was a masterpiece, and when she learned about my project management background, she even enlisted me to redesign her greenhouse. Before long, they were telling Rachel how lucky she was, nudging about marriage, hinting at grandchildren. It wasn't an obligation. It felt like belonging. By autumn 2022, I knew I was going to ask Rachel to marry me. An $8,000 engagement ring was tucked away in my dresser, and I checked on it daily. The plan was simple, meaningful. Christmas night, after dinner at her parents' house, with both our families gathered around for dessert. I'd rehearsed it a dozen times. I slipped into full-on Hallmark movie mode. Christmas planning was a family tradition for me, but this year, it had extra weight. Our first Christmas together, heading towards engagement. I wanted everything flawless. By mid-October, I was juggling schedules, securing reservations, mapping out a gift exchange. The centerpiece? A 7 p.m. slot on Christmas Eve at Sterling's, an upscale steakhouse Rachel had mentioned. Prime time, impossible to get without relentless persistence. I specifically requested their best table overlooking the city lights and made sure the staff knew it was for a special occasion. I even bought a new blue sweater, because Rachel once said that color suited me best. Nothing was left to chance. Gift shopping became a 4-week detective mission. Linda had casually mentioned wanting to complete her grandmother's china set at Thanksgiving, sending me on an odyssey across 3 counties until I found 6 matching pieces. David had wanted a rare book on police history. I hunted down a first edition online. And Rachel's gift? Months of saving for a professional art supply set, the Winsor & Newton Premier Kit, nearly 150 brushes, pencils, and specialty tools. She could never bring herself to spend that much, but I knew the look on her face would be priceless. I even had contingency plans for snowstorms, lost reservations, changing schedules. Looking back, yeah, I went overboard. But that was my way of showing I cared, through details, preparation, and foresight. Then, as November crept in, the cracks began to show. The first warning sign came when I unveiled the china set. I laid the pieces across my kitchen table like priceless artifacts, expecting her excitement. Instead, she barely looked up from her phone. "Oh, yeah, that's nice," she mumbled, scrolling through Instagram like I'd just shown her a grocery receipt. "Your mom's going to be over the moon." I pressed, desperate for more. She gave a distracted hum. I accepted her excuse. Exhaustion from parent conferences and holiday concerts. Teaching middle school in December is like trying to control chaos armed with nothing but patience, right? She'd come over worn out, grading papers at my kitchen table, venting. I cooked, listened, assuming the phone fixation was just her way of decompressing. But then, another name crept into our conversations, Tyler. At first, it was casual. An old college friend, just moved back. "Tyler thinks I should travel more," she'd say. "Tyler says this town stifles creativity." It sounded harmless, the way people reconnect. But soon, Tyler became a daily character in our lives. Tyler believed she should take risks with her art. Tyler said small towns eliminate ambition. Tyler had crazy stories from Denver. The more I heard, the more unsettled I became. From what I gathered, he worked for a boutique coffee company, peddling overpriced blends to hipster cafes, probably owned a dozen flannel shirts, and had far too many opinions about pour-over methods. Yet Rachel seemed absolutely enamored with his so-called creative energy. She gushed about how he'd traveled to 8 countries before 30, contrasting it with her never leaving Michigan. I'm not the jealous type, but the shift was impossible to ignore. She was glued to her phone during dinner. Her answers to my questions were vague, evasive. When I asked who she'd been with, friends replaced specific names. Then, on November 20th, I brought up our Christmas dinner plans, those carefully laid Sterling's reservations. She casually suggested, "Maybe we should keep things flexible this year." "Flexible how?" I asked. "Just not so structured. More spontaneous," she replied. The alarms were blaring, screaming in my head, but I told myself it was stress, the season, the chaos of teaching. I wanted to believe that. I couldn't have been more wrong. December 19th. Only 3 days before Christmas, and my apartment looked like a holiday command center. The coffee table was buried under rolls of paper and ribbon, scissors tucked between stacks of boxes. Every present was sorted like a general preparing for battle. My family's in one pile, her parents in another, and Rachel's gifts, wrapped with extra care, sitting right in front. I felt proud, organized, ready for everything the holiday was supposed to bring. Then she walked in. One look at her face, and I knew it wasn't exhaustion. It wasn't December stress. It was that expression, the one that precedes the kind of conversation nobody wants to have. The "we need to talk" face. "Mike, we need to talk," she said. Her tone was unnervingly calm, but her eyes gave her away. I thought she was about to suggest we change travel plans or adjust our dinner timing. Instead, she sat on the couch, folded her hands in her lap, and delivered the sentence that made my entire body freeze. "I'm bringing Tyler to Christmas dinner instead of you." The ribbon slipped right out of my fingers. I stared at her, like the words hadn't even registered. What did you just say?" She took a shaky breath. "I know this is awful timing, but Tyler and I have been talking, and it's different with him. With you, everything feels planned out, structured, like we're following a script. With him, things feel natural, alive." I put down the gift I'd been wrapping, hers, of all things, and tried to process it. 3 days before Christmas. After months of preparation. After everything I'd been working toward. "I know," she said quickly. "I've been searching for the right moment to tell you, but it never came. You're thoughtful in ways most people would envy. The dinners, the gifts, the reservations, the way you notice every detail. My family says it should make me feel lucky. But instead, it makes me feel trapped." "Trapped," I repeated, my voice sharp, unable to believe what I was hearing. "By someone caring enough to actually think ahead. Trapped by someone writing out every step of a future I haven't even decided on yet," she replied, her voice cracking. "Tyler doesn't do that. He's spontaneous. He makes me feel like I can breathe again." Then she dropped the real blow. "And I saw the ring in your dresser last week. I know what you were planning for Christmas dinner." My chest tightened, a cold, hollow ache. "You went through my things." "I wasn't snooping," she said quickly. "I was looking for a charger and I found it by accident. Mike, I'm only 24. I'm not ready to be engaged. Can you imagine how painful it would have been for both of us if you'd proposed in front of our families, and I had to say no? I'm sparing you the humiliation." I let out a bitter, hollow laugh. You're calling this a favor? Yes, she insisted, tears streaming now. This way we both save face. There's no public rejection, no scene in front of our parents. We can end things quietly. How thoughtful of you. I muttered, unable to hide the venom in my voice. She shook her head. You think I'm being cruel, but I'm just being honest. Tyler doesn't pressure me. He doesn't plan every detail. He just wants to enjoy life as it comes. And that's what I need. As for the gifts, the reservations, my family, I'll handle it. They'll understand. The truth is, Mike, you and I want completely different things. I can't be with someone who already has our entire lives laid out like a spreadsheet. I could have fought for her. Could have pointed out she seemed pretty happy about all my planning until Captain Spontaneous showed up. Could have begged her to wait until after Christmas. Could have asked why she was sabotaging everything we'd built. But honestly, something in me just snapped. I stood up, gathered all the gifts I'd bought for her family into a neat pile, and set them on the coffee table. Give these to your parents. They deserve to have Christmas gifts, even if I won't be there to watch them open them. She looked at me like I was some kind of robot. Mike, you're making this way harder than it needs to be. Nah, I said, my voice flat. I'm making it exactly as hard as it needs to be. I went to my bedroom, got her overnight bag from my closet, her spare clothes, her toiletries, and handed it to her. Then I opened the front door and held it. Can we try to stay friends? She asked, clutching her bag. I just looked at her. You made your choice, Rachel. I'm not going to argue about it, or help you feel better about screwing me over. More crying. Not the I made a mistake kind. The frustrated, this isn't going according to my script kind. After she left, I just sat there staring for about 10 minutes, my brain completely blank. Then it kicked back in. I called my best friend, Derek. I need to get out of here. Dude, what happened? You sound like someone just told you they're canceling pizza forever. Rachel dumped me 3 days before Christmas. For Tyler. Dead silence on the other end. The college dirtbag with the man bun who works at that pretentious coffee startup? Are you absolutely kidding me right now? 20 minutes later, I was at Derek's apartment with an overnight bag. The guy had his gaming setup ready, a cooler full of energy drinks, like he was preparing for some kind of breakup war room operation. Christmas at Derek's was better than expected. So, let me get this straight, Derek said, booting up Call of Duty. Princess Spontaneous couldn't handle dating an actual adult, so she traded you for Walmart Ryan Gosling? She said I was too structured, that I planned everything out too much. Yeah, God forbid someone remembers her birthday and doesn't live in his mom's basement eating ramen. Derek handed me a controller. Did you tell her about the ring? She found it in my drawer. Said she was doing me a favor by dumping me before I could propose. Derek paused the game and stared at me. Wait, what? Are you serious? Her exact words, bro. I've heard some delusional stuff in my time, but that's Hall of Fame level crazy. He unpaused and immediately got destroyed by some 12-year-old. You know what this means, right? You just dodged a bullet the size of the Death Star. Imagine if you'd actually married someone who thinks caring about her is a character flaw. We spent Christmas Eve gaming, eating frozen pizza, and trash-talking random kids online. Every time I started getting in my head, Derek would drop some ridiculous comment about Rachel or make some joke that cracked me up despite everything. You know what's going to be hilarious? He said around 2 a.m., as we were getting destroyed in some battle royale. She's going to spend Christmas explaining to her family why you got replaced by a guy whose biggest accomplishment is probably running a juice cleanse Instagram account. Christmas morning, I woke up early out of habit, made coffee, went for a long walk around Derek's neighborhood, and called my parents. They weren't even surprised about the breakup. Apparently, they'd had reservations about Rachel, but didn't want to say anything. While you were happy, she always seemed like she was looking for something else, my mom said. Like you were just a placeholder until something more exciting came along. My phone started blowing up around noon on Christmas Day. First, it was Rachel. My mom keeps asking where you are, and I don't know what to tell her. Then, Tyler is trying his best, but he doesn't understand our family traditions. By evening, the tea set you got my mom made her cry. She said it was the most thoughtful gift she had ever received. Her parents started texting me directly around dinner time. David, Mike, Linda and I are furious with Rachel for what she did to you. You didn't deserve this garbage. The gifts you got us are incredible, and we're heartbroken you're not here. You'll always be family to us. Linda sent a whole paragraph. Sweetheart, I don't understand what got into our daughter. You're family to us, and always will be. This Tyler boy is rude and arrogant, and we told Rachel exactly how we feel about this whole situation. We love you, and we're so sorry. They even sent me pictures of Linda using the tea set and David reading his book, clearly trying to show Rachel what she'd thrown away. David's follow-up text included a photo of him giving Tyler the stink eye across the dinner table while the dude tried to explain why he didn't eat meat. The final text of the night was from Rachel. I think I might have made a mistake. Can we please talk after the holidays? I read every message, started typing responses to all of them, deleted everything, and put my phone on airplane mode. She made her choice. I wasn't about to help her feel better about it. 2 weeks later, she called me around 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Her voice was raw and desperate, like she'd been crying for hours. Mike, I need to talk to you. Tyler. Tyler left. Okay. That's it. Just, okay. What do you want me to say, Rachel? He said he was just having fun over the holidays and didn't want anything serious. He's going back to Denver. Her voice cracked. I threw away everything we had for someone who was just messing around. Shocking absolutely no one except you. Please don't be cruel. I'm falling apart here, and you're just cold. What did you expect? You chose the guy who lives in the moment over the guy who planned ahead. Turns out living in the moment means he wasn't planning to stick around. She kept calling for weeks after that, leaving increasingly desperate voicemails. Her friends started hitting me up too, like some intervention squad. First, Jessica. Rachel's really struggling, and she misses you so much. She knows she made a huge mistake. Then Madison. She's been crying every day since New Year's. Can't you just talk to her? You're being so unreasonable. Meanwhile, Derek was sending me screenshots of her Instagram posts with commentary like, "Damn, someone discovered the inspirational quote section." And, "Is this the same chick who said you were suffocating her?" Because she's looking pretty suffocated by her own drama right now. Her social media became this cringe fest of sad quotes about realizing what you had when it's gone, and pictures of herself looking contemplative in coffee shops. Classic attention-seeking energy that had me and Derek cracking up. By March, the calls finally stopped. I heard through mutual friends she'd moved back in with her parents and started therapy. Honestly, good for her. I hope she figured out whatever was broken inside that made her blow up her life. Meanwhile, I threw myself into actually living, instead of just planning to live. I started taking photography classes on weekends, which led to solo trips around Michigan, hitting up state parks and small towns. I got back into the gym more consistently. The photography classes were at this community college downtown, taught by an old-school newspaper photographer. I learned to shoot manual mode on my dad's ancient Canon, documenting the Mustang restoration process, which turned into a whole portfolio about American muscle cars and blue-collar pride. I even had a few prints selected for a local art show. Work was going great, too. My project management skills, which Rachel found suffocating, were getting me promoted. Turns out being organized and thinking ahead were actually valuable traits in the real world. The promotion came with a nice salary bump in my own office with actual windows. But the real win? I finally pulled the trigger on something I'd been wanting for years, a 2017 Harley Iron 883. The thing was a bit beat up, but had good bones. I spent my weekends in Derek's garage tearing it down and rebuilding it piece by piece. You know what they call a motorcycle that won't start? Derek said one Saturday while I was rebuilding the carburetor. A really expensive paperweight with trust issues. Kind of like my dating life, but louder. There's something therapeutic about working with your hands. Plus, every time I fired up that engine, I felt like I was reclaiming something Rachel had tried to take from me. The confidence to be myself. That's when I met Sarah, through this hiking group I joined. Complete opposite of Rachel in every way that mattered. Where Rachel was impulsive and flighty, Sarah was thoughtful and grounded. Where Rachel was always looking for the next adventure, Sarah appreciated building something solid. Most importantly, she actually liked the stuff about me that Rachel found overwhelming. "I love how you remember things," she told me when we were planning our third date. "It makes me feel like I actually matter to you." Sarah's the kind of person who chose a career based on actually helping people instead of chasing abstract creative fulfillment. She'd grown up on a farm outside Detroit, knew how to fix things when they broke, understood the value of hard work and planning ahead. The girl could back up a truck, change a tire, and cook a meal that didn't come from a box. Plus, she thought the Harley was badass and wanted to learn to ride. Our first Christmas together, She was genuinely excited about doing it right. I want to meet your family, and I want you to meet mine, she said while we were picking out a tree. My family does everything last minute, and I've always wanted to experience what it's like when someone actually plans ahead. Are you sure? I asked, a slight hesitation in my voice. I tend to go overboard with holiday planning. She laughed and kissed me. Promise me you will. We were at Target, buying decorations, when my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hey, it's Rachel. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to reach out. I'm doing much better now and was hoping we could talk, maybe grab coffee and catch up. I showed Sarah the message. She read it, then looked at me. Do you want to respond? I thought about it for exactly 2 seconds. Nope. Deleted it and went back to debating between silver and gold garland. Good choice, Sarah said. The gold will look better with your couch. Then came the holiday party ambush. Our mutual friend Marcus throws this holiday party every year at his place. Sarah and I showed up fashionably late. I was feeling good about life. And then I saw her across the room. Rachel, standing by the punch bowl, looking smaller than I remembered, checking her phone every 30 seconds like she was waiting for an Uber. Sarah spotted her immediately. Is that her? Yep. And she looks about as lost as I expected. I was talking to Marcus about his new job when I felt someone approach from behind. I turned around, and there's Rachel with this forced smile, holding her drink like a shield. Mike, I didn't know you'd be here tonight. You look really good, healthy. I put my arm around Sarah's waist. Hey, Rachel, this is Sarah, my girlfriend. Sarah immediately extended her hand with a genuine smile. Sarah, I know Mike mentioned you two had history. It's nice to meet you. I watched Rachel completely ignore Sarah's outstretched hand, looking her up and down. Right, Sarah? The way she said it sounded like she was tasting something bitter. I've been thinking about us lately, Rachel said, her voice getting tight while still pretending Sarah didn't exist. About what we had together. All those plans we made. That was a long time ago, Rachel. I've moved on. But don't you miss it? The way we used to be. The way you used to plan everything for us. She was looking directly at me, completely cutting Sarah out of the conversation like she was invisible. Sarah, bless her heart, jumped in, clearly proud. Oh, Mike's been amazing. He's working with my mom to perfect her grandmother's pot roast recipe for Christmas dinner, and he found the most incredible gifts for my nieces and nephews. I honestly don't know how he keeps track of what they all love, but it's one of the things I adore about him. Rachel's face went through about 5 different emotions: surprise, anger, jealousy, rage, before settling on pure venom. How nice for you, she said to Sarah with this fake, sweet voice. It's so easy to appreciate someone when you haven't had to deal with their obsessive need to control everything yet. Give it time. Excuse me, Sarah said, stepping forward. Please, Rachel said, composure completely cracking as she turned back to me. Can we just talk privately? Without her? No, I interrupted, my voice firm. Have a good night, Rachel. You can't be serious right now. You're really going to choose her over what we had. Her voice was getting louder, more desperate. Head started to turn. You can't just replace me with some random girl. As Sarah and I started walking toward the exit, I turned back one last time. Next time you find someone who plans Christmas around you, maybe don't wait until 3 days before to tell them they're uninvited to their own proposal. That's when she completely lost it. Are you serious right now? She screamed across the party, loud enough to stop every conversation. You're just going to walk away after everything we had? The whole party went dead silent. Sarah squeezed my hand, and we kept walking. But Rachel wasn't done making a scene. She doesn't even know you like I do. She's just some rebound who will never understand what we had. Her friends, Jessica and Madison, came rushing over, trying to grab her arms and drag her toward the door. Rachel, stop. You're making a scene, Jessica hissed. I don't care. He's making a huge mistake, and everyone here knows it. As they were physically dragging her toward the exit, Madison shot us this dirty look and said loud enough for half the party to hear, "Wow, real classy, Mike. Bringing this random girl just to hurt Rachel. You actually downgraded in case no one told you." Sarah squeezed my hand as we walked to my truck. Well, she said, a small smile playing on her lips. That was more dramatic than I expected. For me or for her? Definitely for her. She looked like she was watching her entire future walk away. Maybe she was, but that wasn't my problem anymore. Fast forward to today, and life's honestly better than I could have imagined. The Harley restoration is complete. Derek and I turned that beaten-up Iron 883 into something that belonged in a magazine. Every Saturday, we cruise around Michigan, hitting up small towns and dive bars, just enjoying the freedom. Sarah moved into my place around June, and it was seamless. She can cook like she went to culinary school, actually wants to hit the gym with me, and never complains when I disappear to work on the bike or hang with the boys. She'll just smile and say, "Have fun, babe," then post some cute story about loving to watch me in my element. Sarah and I are getting married this coming fall. I proposed with the same ring I bought for Rachel, but this time, it was for someone who actually deserved it. Derek's my best man, and his speech will probably include a 5-minute roast of my questionable taste in ex-girlfriends that'll have the entire wedding cracking up. My restored Harley will be